The stove here, side of the road. Let's see if I can pull the ground off this one. Find the pliers. Here. Let's see if I can pull this over. Still not the right tool. Really thick wire here. There it is. Very tough. It's been a hard one, but got it out. I just tried last time, was so hard, and figured I'll try it again. Anything in the bottom? Something caught on fire or something, or had a little fire. Actually looking for a washing machine, but maybe they mistaken this thing or something. I'm not sure. Friend called and said it's a washing machine. So I mean, it could mistake it as a washing machine because it's small, right? But hard to say. Okay, just metal chairs here. Oh, it's pretty heavy. Heavy weight. I figure I'm going to just do a couple loops before I might go to my storage. So I gotta get some stuff ready. I want to cut 4 tires, get the wheels off at the mags, and then I might work on my brass. Hopefully I don't take it back today. Okay, on the road here. Tables, chairs. Problems I got this thing in here is taking up a lot of room. Move this over. It's actually aluminum, partly aluminum. Just see here. Figure how I'm gonna put stuff in here. Let's say it's garbage. I don't think it's yard sale, but you never know in Surrey. These are heavy. I'll take this. I'll take some heavier stuff. that. We can throw a table in. This one here. Okay, I'll come back a little bit later. Yeah, I'm gonna take the tire off, the rim. To one side. Okay, the tire's physically off. Still have to cut the bead off and need to get my grinder. I'll find my glasses here. Thought I saw a pair over here somewhere. Okay, I just gotta go in my car. Safety first, right? We'll take a chance. Looks like the city is cutting the grass to the back. You know, we're along the ditch and all that. You can hear like at least 3 or 4 weed eaters going, so. Okay, glasses on now. I'm only gonna do one for you because it's too time consuming. I got too much other stuff to show you. Stinks, this rubber. So you can tell it's released. Hardest part of the tire is this part, and then the steel belt on this side. Sidewall is the softest part. Okay, released. You still gotta take a few things off still. I'll punch out this. Wheel weights here. Just take the valve off. Actually, best eye solution is taking the valve off just by cutting it. Simplest way. Okay, lead here. It's like a dirty lead because it's got steel mixed in. That can pop off like that. A little flat screwdriver. And then sometimes you find lead that's stuck to by tape. Okay. But save your lead because it's worth money, so. Here it is. One clean rim. And this type of aluminum is the best aluminum around. They pay the highest for this stuff. High strength cast. It's like a cast aluminum. Very strong material. Highest grade you can get. Okay. 3 more to go. These weights here, I thought they were lead. They're actually steel. Totally steel. So that's kind of new to me. Usually it's lead. Because lead is heavier than steel. So, you know, you can tell it was really rusty. I knew, I was suspected, like suspicion, right, when I saw it, but usually they're lead. You have to check them, right? Like lead doesn't stick and it's a soft, heavy metal. This is the, wow, it's all steel. Everything, even the lead is steel. It's not even lead. It's the first time I've seen these type of weights. Well, you know, I don't do a lot of wheels, but wow. All steel, not lead. Lead, you can tell it's like a lead pencil, you know. It's really soft. You could cut it with a knife very easy. It's soft and inside shiny, like white shiny inside. That's your lead material, but it's non-magnetic. Obviously, this is crap. More crap. Fooled again. You know, I thought those would be for sure, but no. Okay, so it must have been the guy who installed these wheels, or maybe these companies in China are using cheapest metal as possible now. They could save a penny or 2 pennies, you know, over hundreds of thousands of wheels or millions of wheels. Maybe they're saving some money, right? But anyways, the end result is people don't like using rust. Like all the high-end cars will usually be square lead because it doesn't rust. You don't want rust going on your wheels. This being probably a cheap import. I don't know if it's like a Mazda or something, right? So, you know, didn't care, I guess, right? But all the high-end tire shops use lead, stick-on lead. Not clip-on, but stick-on. Okay. Difference between lead and steel. Steel will be rusty. Lead never will rust. And it's very heavy. Just the weight difference is heavy. But look as you can take a cutter to it. See? Inside there's a gold shiny, sorry, not gold, like a gray shiny metal inside. Very soft to cut. This being steel, you can't even cut it. It's hard as a rock. That's the difference between lead. Right? Rusty, lead doesn't rust. And use your magnet. Lead never sticks to a magnet. Any steel, any ferrous materials stick to a magnet. So if you're not sure, you know, a few guys made comments saying, can I show difference between how to show different metals and test metals and so on, and how I can identify them. This is it, lead. See, as you can see. Okay. It's between, okay, stainless steel. Stainless steel being really shiny, highly polished, very strong. Like you couldn't bend it like with your hand. Aluminum is like this. Look, very light, very bendable. Even this is shiny. Look, you can bend it like nothing, right? If that was stainless steel, it would take a lot to bend it. Also, when you file aluminum, it's very soft material. If you file stainless steel, very hard. If you cut stainless steel, it will spark. You cut aluminum, no sparks. That's your difference between stainless steel and aluminum. There's stainless steel that looks like this and shiny and hard, but it's magnetic. See, this one being steel on the cap has to be removed, this bolt. But good aluminum is basically non-magnetic, but you could still have a slight magnetic, like not sticking, but just a slight pull. You're okay. But if it sticks on like that, it's not considered as steel. So that's your difference between that. And I'll show you the differences between. This is for a new subscriber was asking a question. So just in case, this type of material here Yeah, it could be a cast aluminum, it could be under a pot metal die cast, but doesn't stick. Same with this type of stuff. It's casted. See how it's cast? You can see it's got seams and different things. It was cast in some sort of mold and poured. Same with this stuff, pot metal. But you find these on lamps, chandeliers, different type of mostly like light fixtures and lamps. You find most of this stuff here. Non-magnetic. When you smash it, it's real brittle. It's real shiny, silvery inside, almost like a lead material, but very heavy, but hard. It's similar material looking, but this is being a hard material. It's called like die cast. Same with like here, non-magnetic, very heavy. This thing's probably like 4 or 5 pounds, but it's some sort of cast material, chromed. It's not stainless steel, non-magnetic, right? You have to know the differences, but they couldn't stainless steel. They couldn't mold it like this. See how it's molded and cast is one piece? You can't do that in stainless steel that I know of. Same with these taps. These are off brass, brass valves. You know how you have a shut off on your tap and water? See? People throw these in the garbage, but this is still a cast aluminum material. So you take it off, it's still worth money. Anywhere from 30 to 50 cents a pound, depending on where you go and what they pay. Depends on what the aluminum rates are at. Same with this stuff. Ornamental things, you see them on fence posts and different things. See the material inside? How gray it is? But this is like a pot metal material. All this is considered like pot metal. Same with light fixture, like fixtures for like conduit fixtures that copper wire goes to, elbows for you have a steel pipe here, maybe like a 1/2 inch diameter, and you put wires to it. This is your wiring. This is just a joint. Same with this. That's another diameter for different electrical. It's like instead of having a bare wire, it's in a conduit. So if there's electrical hazards in the metal, doesn't less chance of having a fire. Same with this thing here. This thing here too. See, this is cast. Look how shiny it is. Looks like almost like a leaded material. Very heavy. 10 pounds here. Right? But this is, like I say, you find these in lamps. I've got fooled a couple times when if I have them here. I think I dumped them already, but a couple ones I had were actually, they were like a plaster Paris material, but very hard material. If you stick a magnet on, you think, hey, it doesn't stick, but no, you actually physically have to take it apart, hit it with a hammer if you have to, and if it doesn't break like China, then you got metal here. Okay, so also I can look at some other materials here in a minute. So brass here. Brass, like I say, it's non-magnetic. Scratch the file, it's yellow. Usually yellow inside, non-magnetic. Here's another piece of brass. I mean, there's yellow and red brass. Most scrapyards don't really care. But if you remove, obviously this handle here is a pot metal. So you remove the screw, so you have brass. Okay, and you have different taps right here. Like, what material is this? We don't really know. But what you do is you take a file to it. When you file it, you can see it's yellow. This is brass. Same with this will be brass if you file it. This one being this also here, we don't know what it is. But when you file it, see how I filed it here? You see the brass, the yellow coming through? That's brass. Okay, now when you have some fixture like this, like, what is this? This is just plastic. This is plastic, but what is in this handle here? Some of these handles are pot metal, some are brass. The only difference you can tell is both are non-magnetic. You run your file, a grinder. If it stays chrome and shiny and chrome, it's pot metal. If it goes yellow inside, it's a brass with chrome plating. So these are kind of differences, right? Like, there's a million different things you can look at, right? Same with these plug-ins. These are brass, right? They could be a different color like chrome, but still, the end result, they're chrome-plated brass. So you have to use a magnet, get yourself a file. The file really identifies a lot to you. Very, very important to have a file. Okay, and I'll show you some other metals as we kind of go along here. I'm a little bit behind here, so, but I'll show you more. That's a little tip on this stuff here, right? And then also, if you're taking steel back, right, you have different type of grades of steel. Like, you know, this is a tin right there. Those appliances would be tin. Thin, light, wobbly metal versus rebar is like heavy steel. Rebar, this tank could be considered heavy metal. These plates are obviously heavy metal. You can see the diameter, it's very heavy to the weight. If that was a piece of tin, it'd be like, you know, 1/10 is the weight. So all the heavier metals, you should save them and separate them because they might be a 5-cent difference in price. Could go from 5 cents to 10 cents. Could double, right? And that heavy metal is so heavy, so you could have a small volume of material and be 3 times heavier than a whole truckload. So that's why people will keep the heavy metal separate versus a tin. Tin is just crap. It takes a lot of room up. It's not heavy. Like if that was a, for instance, like, you know, if this was made out of heavy metal, it'd be 3 times heavier, right? Versus being, you know, flimsy tin, there's no weight there. You know, you could just throw it off a truck. It's just going to fall apart basically. If this was made out of solid steel, you know, it wouldn't even dent. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. So, you know, you have to know your metals. And here, I have stainless steel here. All the stainless steel here. Well, stainless steel handle, but the insert steel. So you need your magnet to identify the steel. So this has to be either cut or some other way to separate the steel. Most likely, you might have to use a grinder. Or, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to hit it on a block, smash it, and may just start to kind of separate the. It's just the 4 weld points here. Just basically spot welded. Same with these lids here. All I do is I can sometimes use a tool like this and break the welding. See that? See, I went from, say, 50 cents a pound, or no, I went from 15 cents a pound to 50 cents a pound, just taking this one screw out. So you have to know your metals, and you know you have to clean certain items. Some items aren't worth cleaning, but when it comes to stuff like this, actually, you know what? Some scrap yards are only paying 7 cents a pound for dirty stainless steel. You take the screws out completely, they're paying up to 50 cents. Same with this handle. This came off aluminum pot. Well, the pot is aluminum, but the handle is stainless steel, so you have to separate it. And this rivet here might be aluminum, so you have to separate off that, right? But you can sometimes mix it in because they'll put a magnet on there and won't know. But okay, this is clean stainless steel now versus, you know, having a contaminated metal in there. You know, same with this. This plastic will have to be broken off, right? Break the plastic off. You have a clean metal. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference here. And even though it looks clean, I'll have to run a magnet to check that little clamp here. Stainless steel, see, non-sticking. See the difference from clean to dirty? So it's up to you on what you want to do. Like, do you want to spend the time, or you want to sell for just 1/10 the price, basically? So you have to kind of figure what metals are cleanable. Consider cleaning all metals if you have time, because it makes a difference. You know, same with like these aluminum pots. They'll give me 28 cents dirty. They'll give me maybe 20 cents more clean. But most of them is just unscrewing a handle. Some have rivets. Sometimes you can bend the handle, the rivets fall out. Or you could use a little chisel and chisel the rivets off. So I could process 100 pounds in, you know, maybe a couple hours, and then make, you know, another, you know, $20 or $30 more. It's not a lot of money, but if you have $20, $30 here and then another $20, $30 here, next thing you have $200, $300, $400, $500 of material, right? If I sold everything the way it was, like this, like these computers and everything, I would end up, you know, sure, I'd make $500, I'd be happy, but no, it could be, end result could be like $2,000 of material because I'm taking it apart. That's the difference. You know, small volume or high volume. changes. You higher the volume, the more materials, the more you save, right? Okay, brass here. I'll try to attempt to clean some of it anyways, but they close at 5, so gives me a couple hours, maybe 2-3 hours. These are covers off of furnace vents. Usually they have a steel bottom, that's why they're slightly broken. They're heavy, probably at least a couple pounds each. Try to get when all else fails, axe time. See if you don't have an axe. See? Just broke it right out. First of all, I'm just going to see what's clean. So I can go through all the clean stuff real fast. So have your magnet ready. So I think this might be steel right here. Okay, we're good on that one. Just never know. Should be a good score here. See, this is all that micro scrap and stuff, huh? What they do is they just put a magnet in there and they say, oh, okay, nothing sticks, okay. These are all brass too. Ready magnet on there. Gotta grab this. I just want to show you this here. I've been doing demo for years and years. I've always been throwing these in shred. Just never had time to check them. But these, most of them are brass. If you don't see any C marks, anything, it looks like it's all smooth finishing. It's brass. Or you put your file on it. See that brass there? But for years I've been throwing them in the shred. It's like I can't believe it, all that time. And these screws could be also brass, but anyways. So that's a brass item. And then also you have to file these too to make sure. See, I think this is pot metal. See, this is pot metal. If you look at it, see the rough castings, how rough it looks? It's roughly casted. Some are brass. See? Doesn't shine up at all in the center. So this is cast and that was brass. I'll put that separate there because I'm doing a load of cast after. Just little pointers there you have to really look for, because if you're not properly processing things, then you might be losing lots of money, right? Like for years I just do them basically in the metal pile, just not really thinking or knowing. I started investigating a little more, right? Taking my file around and checking things. Some of the stuff I got from a friend, but it's good brass. This is pot metal too, aluminum pot metal. This one I'm going to separate. I'm going to throw them in here because I'm going to have a whole bunch. Most of these tap handles are all pot metal anyways. Gotta take this seal off. I'm sure I could probably sell these for more money, but one pile. No patience to sell these. You know, when you work at salt flea markets and stuff, and guys constantly want to buy everything. They'll give you they'll give you $1 for this. Well, I can probably get $1.50 scrap for this. Why would I want to sell for $1, right? If they're paying me like $10 for that joint, I'm sure I could sell on eBay, but the shipping is too expensive. People just go to a hardware store and buy it, right? But anyways, that's the way it goes. Need my other adjustable wrench. So it's whatever you want to do. It's up to you, right? I mean, the options are there. Kind of like to take at least the rubber seals off, so it just looks a little cleaner. And then here, this one here could also be steel. Doesn't mean it's pot metal, because the last one's pot metal. This being really heavy is probably steel, right? See, magnetic. So you have to have your magnet handy, because you could easily get fooled. Doesn't take long. You don't look like a dummy sometimes, right? Not that you're a dummy or nothing. It's just people think, hey, well, the guy's trying to take me or something, or throwing steel in there or something. But no, it's an honest mistake. But if it's really heavy, you have to investigate. Usually cast materials, aluminum and slate. That's a brass screw, because you can see it's totally brass looking. See, in theory, I should be cutting this off here, right? Or I could grind these bands, but right now my Sawzall, I'm getting my batteries charged. Knock the plastic off. There's so many of these brass things. This is nice. We see these. It's like right on. Old bathtubs. Old-fashioned bathtub. Well, I wouldn't say old-fashioned, but older ones anyways. The newer ones are plastic now, so lots of processing here. Even this is brass, see? See, this is brass? I just know it's brass because, I know there's a little piece of copper there. Probably pop that off. There's lots of little brass handles, different things. There's another thing. I mean, it's very heavy, so I'm suspecting it's not pot metal. I'm suspecting it's brass. Doesn't stick. Give it a good grind test, which I probably did before. I'd say it's pot metal. It's heavy because it's a big dense piece of metal, but it's not shining like brass inside. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's brass. Yeah, it's just the color. I got my glasses on. Yeah, without the glasses, I can tell. Yeah, it's brass. But brass is pretty heavy, right? So it's kind of a tip-off. I thought it wasn't, but it definitely is. There's something here with a screw in here. So check all these little things out. If you don't have a file, you have to use a grinder or something. Yeah, you can see brass, yellow brass. So being these together, I consider them being brass, right? Brass. This being dirty brass, hard to clean. So I'll put it aside for now. This goes in that bucket. Missed it. Dirty aluminum. This is kind of stuff that I put aside, and when I have a lot of different metals and materials, I'll put aside, right? And I'll dig it all out after. Okay, big valve here. I want to clean, so I'm gonna use a cutter. I'm thinking, I don't have a long blade here, so it's going to be a bit of a problem. Yeah, no other proper blade. So when you get something like that, you have to cut it around. Hopefully I get enough time and blade. Cut it one way, cut it opposite way. I'm going to change my battery quickly. Scrap yard is closing in about 45 minutes, so it'll be quick. If I can clean it, hopefully. If I can't, well, I can clean another time. That's a really big valve. Heavy stuff. It's heavy steel, really. Just another guy, friend told me he used to use axe to split those with a sledgehammer, so I'm gonna try that. So I gotta hit the scrapyard with these two to take. Just show you my brass quickly. All my brass. Bang down here quickly. Okay. So pretty good load of brass. My friend used to split these, he said, told me. He used to split them. That's going. There. So what he used to do is split it with a sledgehammer, but seems like a lot of hitting. Looks like too much work. Okay, I gotta go. Ran out of time. Just a little bit of copper I got. But it's mostly brass here. Okay. Some pot metal here. Okay. That's a big piece of brass, so it's worth cutting, but the blades aren't cheap either, so oh well. Oh. Probably about 30 pounds, 35 pounds probably, pretty heavy. Should have about 50 pounds of brass, I would think, at least. Oh. Okay, recap. Brass, it's all brass. It's like die cast aluminum, whatever. This is 2 mortars, aluminum windings, 4 mags. Well, it's all pot metal here. And I might take the aluminum too. Got a little bit of aluminum. Let's go over here. Not a lot, but it's ready. I think this is aluminum too. Okay, so all this is going. Okay. Can't film at the scrapyard, so at least I'll let you know how we did. Some totals so on. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so I ended up taking back all that material there. It was a good payday. 286.25 total, which is pretty good. I had 9 pounds of old sheet aluminum, auto wheels, aluminum wheels at 62 pounds, 28 pounds of the washing machine mortars, 28 pounds, usually around 15 pounds, something like that each on average. Yellow brass, 89 pounds, really good. So I always kind of wait till I have a good load and take it in one shot. I hate taking 5-10 pounds at a time, you know, but sometimes I do. It depends on, you know, how I feel, or if I, you know, just want to get an extra money going or whatever. But zinc, pot metal zinc is the same type of material, 107 pounds. So a good payday on that. Kind of happy about that. It worked out pretty good. But it's time consuming, right? I mean, I spent, I'd say, it was in 12:30, so 4 hours cleaning all that. Well, not all that, just I spent at least over 2 hours just cleaning the copper, or not copper, but brass. But there was a little bit of copper that I cut off there, maybe a couple pounds. But it's time consuming. If you want to, you know, scrap and you have to get all these materials. If you don't clean these materials, for instance, you know, if I didn't clean that brass, I'd only get $1 a pound. So versus doubling my money if I clean it. So that means, you know, I'm still making my wages regardless. I'm making an okay wage, you know. So it's not like I'm making $2 an hour. I'm getting probably like $20 an hour. You know, $25 an hour, something like that, right? But prices are down, brass is down, copper's down, 122's down, everything's down right now. Aluminum's kind of stable to what it was, you know, last few times, but most of that, you know, brass, those high days like 230, those days are gone right now. But you know, I'm not going to sit on these things all day long for next wave to come back. I mean, it may drop even down another 50 cents a pound. Who knows where it's going to go, where the bottom is. I remember we had a market, it got so bad, copper was $3 a pound, ended up being like $1 a pound or less. You know, like $1.60 for brass, clean, we're talking about. Prices just went like that overnight. So I figure if I have a good quantity of materials, you know, sell it as a bulk amount so that you have a decent, you know, payday that day, right? But if you're taking, you know, 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there, you might make $15, $20. Doesn't seem like very much money, but when you know, put your scrap together and process stuff, and you have $200-300, it's like, it feels good, right? It's a good feeling for your accomplishments. You know, all that brass that you saved. You know, friends helped you, family helped you. You know, people called you through friends. I mean, it all networking works. What you know works for everybody. Just let people know you're a scrapper. You pick up metals, go out your way, help people out. Like, you know, for one guy, you know, I don't take tires, but you know, he had tires and rims, so I took the tires and rims. I'll cut the tires off. I can dispose of tires for free. So yeah, I mean, and then I'll take the rims to like heavy steel. But you know, if I could have been mean and said, hey, I'm not taking nothing, no, I don't want that, I don't want that, then people get mad and might not call you again next time. But if you take something, you know, else that you may not want to take, it keeps people happy. So in the end result is brass is done, all my major copper's done. I'm going to work on a little bit on my wire, you know, whatever I have kicking around, I have a little bit of wire there. The rest of dryer cords, I'm just going to start from now on cleaning myself, because I'm still going to get more value anyways, more than they're going to pay. They paid $1.04 last time, was kind of low, you know, so I'll just clean it up and, you know, be a little more better cleaning it. I mean, I'll be losing probably at least 30% or more, maybe 40%, but I'm still going to make probably 50 cents a pound more, or maybe even a little more. So I'm still coming ahead anyways. I got a stripper, got to make that wire stripper pay for itself. I mean, it was a pretty expensive venture there, but eventually, like I say, if I get the right type of wire, it's going to pay for itself in no time. But over time, it will pay for itself. Anyways, that's it for now. Let's see what we're going to do. They still have all those tables sitting on the side of the road there, the table and chairs. I'm going to grab some of those. Maybe do 1 or 2 trips, get the rest of those too. Okay, stay tuned. Hey, just got an e-waste pickup. That's a nice looking cord, actually. So I got a working printer, they told me. Some computer stuff. Here is a motherboard. It's a loose fan. I see it. Okay. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. Got a computer tower here. It's got a motherboard in there. I'm not sure how old it is, but you know, things get outdated so fast. There's a PlayStation here. Not sure if it's working. A keyboard. I got some CD drives or DVD drives. 2 drives, older ones, and some cords. I got a modem. Let's just wrapped up here. Oh, it's a N57. Oh, N5706TX sound card of some sort, or a gaming card. That looks pretty good, pretty interesting. Yeah, the guy told me he just built 2 computers, so he took a lot of old stuff apart. Another card, graphics card, GeForce 7600. That looks pretty nice. Nice card there. More cables. Oh, lots of cables. More power supplies. Oh, it might be a camera here. I got a thing for a camera. More keyboards. Another D-Link. Don't see a camera here. What's this thing here? Piece of metal. Okay, well that's about it. Not bad. A bunch of keyboards. What's this here? Another D-Link. It's a wireless USB. Not a bad pickup, so I'm happy about that. Got another computer with the board anyways. Power supply, a power supply and board. Yeah. Okay, not bad for pickup. Just wanted to share that with you guys. You just never know what you get nowadays. Okay, stay tuned. So this is about the best stuff I got of that lot. 570 or 5706 TX graphics card with a motherboard, a couple RAM sticks, another card here, a GeForce 7600, another motherboard. And my brother's gonna take a few things that he likes. Okay, open the PlayStation here. Got really nice chips here, gold crystal oscillators, very nice looking board. All these chips are all good, and they're all the older generation, probably 1 or 2 PlayStation. The guy told me he didn't know if it worked or not. He thought it was kind of broken, but anyways, regardless, a board like this, I'll take the IC chips off for my gold recovery, which I'm going to start on it as soon as I have. My goal is trying to get one full jar, a 2 kilogram jar of chips. When I have that all put together, then I'm going to incinerate them and then do the gold thing with the acid and all that. But for now, I'm just trying to accumulate the better chips for now. Okay, but it's a nice looking board, I'll tell you. If you get a PlayStation or a Sony Genesis, which a friend gave me, that has nice chips also. They're older technology, but these are Sony. Japan, I would believe. Oh, this is Korea already. These are Korea, so you know, Korea and China changed over before Japan on their gold bonding wires. They went from gold to copper bonding wires, so hopefully these are the gold era. They should be, but most of the new chips now have copper in them. But some of the real high-end boards will have gold bonding wires still, but it's getting rare. Okay.